Before we get started, make sure you're subscribed, turn on notifications, and drop a comment with your take on the Browns' quarterback situation. Are you riding with Dillon Gabriel a little longer? Or is it time for Shedeur Sanders to get the nod? I'll feature the sharpest comments in the next video. Cleveland finally got the kind of Sunday its fans have been begging for. A clean, convincing 31-6 win over Miami. On the surface, it felt like a turning point. A defense that smothered, a run game that bullied, and a scoreboard that left no doubts. But instead of ending the conversation, the blowout threw gasoline on it. In living rooms, group chats, and sports talk call-ins across Northeast Ohio, the same question kept coming back. When is it Shedeur Sanders time? Here's why that question won't go away. Dillon Gabriel's stat line from the Dolphins game reads like a Rorschach test. If you want calm, steady, mistake-free football, you've got it. 13 of 18 passing, 116 yards, 0 interceptions. He didn't cost the Browns anything on a rainy day that begged quarterbacks to make bad decisions. But if you want a franchise quarterback, someone who jumps off the screen and bends a defense's will, this wasn't it. There was no touchdown pass. There were a few throws that felt dangerous to the defense. And in the most telling moments, when the Browns got inside the 10, the ball left his hands. That red zone script was impossible to miss. When Cleveland neared the goal line, it wasn't Gabriel under center. It was rookie running back Quinton Judkins in a wildcat look, banging out 3 touchdowns while the quarterback stood on the sideline with his helmet on, watching. That's not a knock on creative play calling. It's a snapshot of trust. Right now, Kevin Stefanski trusts his defense and run game more than he trusts his quarterback to finish drives. That might win you a soggy Sunday in October. It won't win you January. The defense told its own story. Myles Garrett wrecked Miami's protections from the opening snap. Tyson Campbell punctuated the day with a pick six. 4 total takeaways erased any chance of a comeback. Cleveland's identity felt familiar and ruthless. Dominate on defense, grind the clock, shorten the game. In that identity lies an uncomfortable truth. The Browns are winning around their quarterback, not because of him. Even the social media subplot made noise. After the game, Gabriel's fiancée, Caswell, posted her usual game day montage on TikTok. Outfit, tunnel walk, a proud of you caption. The comments filled up fast. Dude threw for 97 yards, one fan wrote. Caswell fired back. It was literally pouring rain. Do you expect 400 yards? LOL. She wasn't wrong about the weather, and it's fair to defend a guy you love. But Browns fans have seen what bad weather quarterbacks look like when they're great. Bernie Kosar didn't need dome conditions to build a legend. Baker Mayfield, before the wheels came off, had moments that made the stadium feel warmer than the temperature. Cleveland doesn't worship excuse-making. It worships production. Stefanski did what good coaches do when asked about his rookie. He backed him. I thought it was good for him to play clean and take care of the football. He said, he's right to a point. This is only Gabriel's 3rd start. The assignment hasn't been easy, and he has not turned it over. The flip side is what everyone feels when they watch. Clean has become a synonym for conservative. Gabriel is now 1-2 as a starter with 527 passing yards and 2 touchdowns on the year. In a league where the best young quarterbacks create explosives on schedule, Cleveland's offense rarely does. The Browns have only 5 passing touchdowns all season, among the fewest in the NFL. Once defenses sit on the run and dare you to beat them over the top, this version of the Browns sputters. All of that is why the drumbeat for Shedeur Sanders is getting louder, not softer. The 5th-round pick out of Colorado didn't arrive in town with fanfare fit for a first-round savior. He did arrive with pedigree, polish, and attention that turns heads. Scouts called him one of the most intriguing developmental quarterbacks in class. Smart, calm, accurate to all levels, unafraid of tight windows. Now fans look at developmental and see necessary. One viral tweet captured the mood. I'm not saying Shedeur is an NFL quarterback, but I am saying Dillon Gabriel sure as hell isn't. Another post put more bluntly, they got in the red zone and went wildcat instead of trusting Gabriel. You can't tell me Shedeur couldn't do better. That's not analysis from an offensive coordinator. It's sentiment from the stands. But in this town, sentiment moves lines. And it's not just noise. Mary Kay Cabot reported that Shedeur is working before dawn with Stefanski in the coach's office, devouring tape and concepts most rookies see much later. Myles Garrett even let it slip. I've seen him in there early with coach. It's showing up in practice. Cabot added one loaded phrase. The Browns are eager to see what he can do this season when the time comes. Circle that. The staff loves his football IQ and composure. Teammates talk about his different energy at practice, subtle but noticeable. That alone can fracture a quarterback room. Cleveland knows is better than most. Before this season even started, the position carousel spun again. Joe Flacco was dealt to Cincinnati. Kenny Pickett landed with the Raiders. The Browns have a rookie starter trying to prove he belongs, and another rookie making a quiet case behind him. Publicly, veterans say the right things about Gabriel's leadership. Privately, you can tell the guys respect him, one team source said. But you can also feel that they know Shedeur is different. The energy changes when he's on the field. That's how a staff starts to whisper about windows, and when the time comes, Gabriel's own limitations are showing up on film. His height, just over 6 feet, has created visibility issues in the pocket. Several times against Miami, he missed middle-of-the-field routes that broke open behind the linebackers. Ball trajectories got tipped. A pair of near interceptions would have been punished by a better opponent. You don't have to be 6'5" to deal from the pocket in this league. But if you're not, your timing and anticipation have to be perfect. Right now, they're not. That's what makes the next 2 weeks so brutal. First up, a trip to Foxborough against a Patriots team that has won 4 straight and looks organized in ways New England teams always do by midseason. Then the AFC North is a minefield. Baltimore is a machine. Cincinnati, even with personnel turnover, always punches above its record. Pittsburgh's defense can turn you over in bunches. If Gabriel puts another low-output game on tape, the calls for Shedeur will drown out the weather report. This is a kind of stretch that ends quarterback runs. It can also begin them. So Cleveland sits at a familiar crossroads. You can keep developing Dillon Gabriel, hoping his poise and efficiency eventually translate into playmaking. Or you can give the city what it's already chanting for, the debut of Shedeur Sanders, and live with the volatility that comes with putting a raw, gifted arm into live fire. For now, Stefanski is diplomatic. He insists Gabriel is learning, progressing, doing what's asked. That's fine in the film room. But the NFL is a results business, and this fan base has waited decades for something better than don't mess it up. If you believe the glimpses from Berea, Shedeur isn't just waiting. He's stacking days. He's loved for how quickly he processes, how he commands a scout team huddle, how the ball jumps off his hand on deep digs and post routes. Put him and Gabriel side by side in a 7-on-7 red zone drill, and you might leave the field believing Sanders won the day. That's practice. Sundays are different. You have to slide protections the right way. You have to manage motions, kill plays, reset fronts, take care of yourself when a blitzing nickel screams off the edge. Insiders say he's climbing that curve faster than expected, but it's still a curve. Here's the uncomfortable truth the city is dancing around. The Browns didn't beat Miami because of Dillon Gabriel. They won around him. On a day like that, a quarterback who doesn't lose it deserves credit. In November and December, you need one who wins it. That doesn't mean Gabriel can't. It does mean he hasn't yet, and the schedule isn't giving him a grace period. There's also an optics piece that's hard to shake. When cameras catch your quarterback in a park on the sideline while your wildcat back twirls the ball and truck sticks a linebacker, it sends a message to defenders, to coordinators, to the guy wearing the headset. Conservative stops being a plan and starts being a brand. In today's NFL, you don't get points for not losing. You get paid for winning big. What would Shedeur change? Swagger, first of all. The willingness to force a defense off the spot with an early deep shot. The anticipation to throw a dig on time between linebackers. The trust to give receivers a chance on 50-50 balls instead of living in the flat. A single 40-yard rope to the opposite hash in the second quarter can change the energy in the stadium and on the sideline. That's what Cleveland is craving. It's not just about arm talent. It's about belief. None of that absolves the coaching staff. This isn't a one-man fix. The route concepts have to evolve. The second side triggers have to arrive faster. The protections have to be cleaner. If you're going to unleash a young quarterback, he needs structure, not chaos. You can be aggressive without being reckless. The best offensive systems create safe windows for explosive plays. Cleveland needs that regardless of whose name is on the starter line. So what's the most likely timeline? If Gabriel steadies out in Foxborough with 2 touchdown throws and no turnovers, the brakes go on the Sanders talk for a week. If he stumbles again, under 150 yards, no explosive plays, red zone hesitancy, the calls will be deafening. Stefanski can ignore talk shows. He can't ignore his locker room or the division standings. The "when the time comes" line from Berea wasn't accidental. It was positioning. Cleveland fans have been through enough carousel trauma at quarterback to know this much. Development is important, but momentum is everything. This roster is built to win now. The defense is too good to waste. The run game awakens the stadium. The missing piece is electricity under center. Dillon Gabriel is a composed rookie you can root for. He deserves respect for protecting the ball. But the Browns need more than safe. They need someone who can light a fuse and keep it burning. Maybe that's Shedeur Sanders. Maybe the rookie behind the rookie is the shock this franchise needs. Maybe it's not this week. Maybe it's not next. But it feels inevitable. The scoreboard said 31-6, and everything's fine. Anyone watching closely knows better. The storm clouds are building over Lake Erie, and when they break, it won't be rain falling on Cleveland. It'll be no underscore jogging out of the tunnel, and his name will be Shedeur. If you made it this far, hit like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. When would you make the switch and why? Should the Browns stick with Gabriel through the Patriots game? Or do you hand the keys to Sanders now and live with the growing pains? I'll read every response and feature the smartest ones next time.